Hey everybody, welcome back to Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're watching more Symphogear. Not just any Symphogear, we're watching the extras that come at the end of this season. Uh, I suppose technically they're supposed to be interspersed little OVAs explaining different things in the series, but we watched them all at the end just to get a little bit of extra
No,
content.
this is where they're intended to be. No, remember last time I had the whole problem during
Uh-huh.
G? Was it G that we did last time?
Yeah, you had a lot of questions that were only answered at the very end with the OVAs,
Yeah,
right?
because there's meant to be seen at the very end, so they somehow, because if you recall, the very first one dealt with the questions I had at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the first season, but all of the other OVAs that were in there were all about the end of that season. So they were designed to be watched that way.
So, hopefully we'll get a whole lot of answers here, but before we begin, we have a whole bunch of comments for the rest of the series, and we're going to go ahead and go over how the season finished out here. With Joshua, who says, "Hey, no need to call me out like that right away. Part of why I like GX is specifically because of things that happen in XV, so it's a little bit tricky to rank it on its own. I think that if I had to objectively rate GX alone, then it's probably the weakest season in the show. But so many of its flaws get improved in XV that it feels so much better on repeat watches. To me, GX is the season with the greatest flaws, but also some of the most fun fights and the best payoff in the final season. It's a real roller coaster of a season." Speaking of roller coasters, episode 9's storyline with Tsubasa's dad is so weird to me. In one episode, they basically rush through the exact same storyline Hibiki is going through right now. It feels a bit unnecessary to have two storylines about bad parenting, one of which is solved when the episode that introduced it. Especially because her story is far darker than Hibiki's, with the reveal that she's actually the daughter of her grandfather, not her father. Yet it's instantly solved. Well, once again, GX swings right back from a low point to an absurdly high point with the return to the greatest hero of them all, Dr. Veer. No one can hate him. That's true. You can't hate Dr. Veer. It's physically
How
impossible.
can you be the daughter of your grandfather and not your father? But
Because it's a lie that you told people.
but still technically, biologically, it's not your grandfather, he's your father then.
That's correct. But what everyone else has said, and the impression that's been given, and who is technically the guardian father, uh, this is why you don't do incest, everyone.
Well, no, there's a lot of reasons why you don't do incest. Don't let Griffith's one example fool you.
There are additional examples for you to not do this. Please don't. The first is it makes it very hard for us to react to it.
Legally, though, I'm saying, if you're saying that the definition here is legally, then that's different than she's still. Whoever the grandfather is in this scenario is still her father, and then her father would be her brother? Cousin,
Yeah.
maybe, at the outside?
Yeah, the technical father would actually be her brother.
It's kind of like, when my cousin's, mother died, my grandparents adopted her
Hmm.
legally. So technically, my cousin, who's younger than me, is actually now my aunt. If you adjust the
Yeah.
tree to.
I am fortunate enough I don't have to deal with any of this because our family tree is a straight line. There is no deviation. There are no other people in the bloodline beside me here. Uh,
So why'd you say
but
we then?
because royal we. Anyway, but yeah, no, gosh, they do resolve it like so quickly.
I just did a royal we before we started recording.
They start it up so quickly, solve it immediately. It almost feels like actually Tsubasa solved this like season one without saying it.
No, because she still had problems with her brother when she showed up to the house. But,
Mhm.
so obviously she didn't solve it in season one. When her sister. No, sorry, I'm thinking of the other girl now. Um, yeah, so that's been just festering in the background. But it certainly was more interesting than Hibiki's situation.
It at least got us way more involved immediately, and less like, oh, look at this jerk.
Well, I mean, because we got the whole "didn't mess with your room since you left" thing, and
Yeah.
it was. I mean, there was a lot less words, but it was still more interesting because I think "deadbeat dad" is a lot less, is a lot more played of a trope than super rich distant dad is.
It didn't hit quite as hard or as fast, I guess. But I think the final thing here with Joshua is, yeah, I think so far GX might be the weakest in my opinion too, which is, hey, that's fine. Hopefully XV is gonna be really hot. That's all I'm waiting for.
Yes, the show about girls Griff's wants to be really hot.
It's gonna be mega hot. Our next comment here says, Bam says, Gay is really good about not bloating up an episode with reused footage. Usually there's only one transformation episode per episode. Usually the one for the character who is about to have a big moment. Yeah, I think that's a really good way to do it without, like, extending out runtime. We're not, like, doing Power Rangers or Sailor Moon here where we need, like, an extra 10 minutes we don't need to animate, right?
Well, I mean, normally the thing to do there would be to fast forward through a bunch of combined transformation scenes of everybody's on deck, as it were.
I guess if you really, really wanted to stick to the trope, but so far, like, the show overall doesn't use them for that purpose, so there's no reason to. I think they did really good with not, with the number of transformations they did. I think they did good. Our next comment is Fusel, who says, Anarabe is a compound noun made of ane and anen and arabe. Ane is ancestor, arabe is heritage. So ane arabe means something along the lines of ancestral heritage. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
So tell me, Griff, where does on Hey come from?
Good question. Mm, 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 mm.
Cool.
Oh no,
Now that
you
you've
you go ahead
swallowed,
first.
now that you've
I still have
immediately
more to drink
swallowed.
here. You go ahead first.
Sorry,
I believe that was the name of the
I believe you
castle,
were
wasn't
about to
it?
tell us. So aren't you?
I'm pretty sure that was the name of the castle, if I remember right. But good little details to know. Furted Slash says, ah yes, Subasa's family. This will get darker and darker as we advance. As the meme says, being a sword is suffering.
I mean, two things. Seems like they solved it already, so I don't
Um,
know where they're gonna get worse from. Also, unfamiliar with said meme.
Theta, I'm scared. How can it get darker, Theta?
I don't know, 'cause this is not a show particularly about making the things worse for these people.
Also, the meme is Subasa's, basically. That's like her tagline at this
Well,
point.
I mean, she's redefined what a sword is. Remember, because it was a person who couldn't be hurt by swords, so she had to redefine what all of her weaponry was.
Mhm.
So, I mean, she could redefine what being a sword is too.
Up next is Oleb23, who says, Dr. John Wayne Victor uh, Verkegtorix, yes, that's his full name, got his degree in evil biochemistry from the noted evil Yale University.
I want to say Versingtorix?
Vercingtorix, I think, yeah.
Versing. I want to say it's more of a C than a K sound. You know, I know C's can make K sounds when you put in one, but I'm unfamiliar with the current.
I haven't had a good excuse to drop this tidbit, but now is a good time as any. Yeah, no, perfect timing for it. Also, yeah, no, Yale's inherently evil, right?
Depends on what side of the current debate you fall on.
At least I understand why people call him Dr. Veers, but I have no idea why he didn't call himself just John Wayne to
Yeah,
everybody else.
maybe it is. Well, one thing nobody calls him Veers; they call him Doctor Veer, and we have that bad habit of calling him that Star Wars character's name this entire
Yeah,
time,
true. True,
Colonel
true.
Veers.
I
But
could
if it
still see him
was,
pumping up in an AT-AT.
well, I mean, if it was Veers, like with an S sound, that would
Yeah.
be an argument for versing Torix,
Mhm.
because it would still have a S to it.
Yep. And our last comment here is Rand's Happy Gaming Family, who says, so, you didn't see the shield power again, but Carol and the auto scores do use shields. The alkanoids can also disintegrate all matter, so they can still chase you through a wall. It's just that It's just that the wall will also be gone. So not only did they seal the Staff of Solomon in another dimension, they did so right before that dimension was completely annihilated by the Nephilim's explosion. I mean, it's certainly easier to call him Dr. Veer than John Wayne, Versectorix, which is in fact his full name.
Vercingtorix. Versing? Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Vercingtorix.
Dr. Veer. And now it suddenly makes sense why the autoscorers just stand by and wait for the girls to use Ignite modules. The autoscorers getting killed by Ignite was literally part of the plan. So Lior's little sister is that giant version of herself. No, I don't know why. It's just a thing. Either die a villain or live long enough to become a hero. I don't think that's how the saying usually goes, but Symphogear doesn't care.
The Alkanoids wouldn't be able to chase you through a wall.
I think he says, like, they can still just blow stuff up.
Remember, when they disintegrate something, they disintegrate themselves. So if they disintegrate the wall to chase you through it, they would disintegrate the wall and then disintegrate themselves, thus not chasing you anywhere.
Yeah, and then the other 20 come through the hole, I guess. But yeah, so a lot of info there. That's our comments, and now I guess on to the show then. So, Theta, any thoughts before we go ahead and get in? Any final things from our comments or anything else you want to get off your brain?
I mean, not really. Didn't have any pressing questions this season that I could remember, pointedly anyway.
Real important question. What exactly was Hibiki's dad's job before he got fired?
He was a businessman, remember?
But what kind of... we gotta be more specific.
Not really. I think that's a fairly broad and understood category in Japanese day-to-day life. Like a wage worker.
Yeah.
I mean, specifically, we knew that he was pitching. God, I can't remember. Remember, we specifically went over this during one of the episodes where I went back to Symphogear G and pulled some of the website's information about what happened to her dad from that series. So we had gone over it. We, despite not being able to remember right now, had the information at one point.
So, I guess let's go ahead and get started then. But before we do that, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want to want to see more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check us out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all sports channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Tell me what your favorite candy bar is.
So the episode where nobody studies. My strategy.
無駄なおしゃべりしてないでノートだけでもおさらいしておこうよ。リディアンはニカと関係のある学校なのにどうして普通の授業が普通にあるんだよ。そっか、案外そういうことなのかもね。どうしたの突然。なんだかやっといつもの毎日に戻ってきた気がする。
Aww.
遅くなったけどただいまミク。
Oh.
おかえりなさい。
I feel like all the romance happens in these.
フロンティアの崩壊に伴い海中に没したエアキャリアより事件の裏側を伺い知る証拠品を多数引き上げました。
とはいえ、あの状況だからな。
はい、そのほとんどは破損し証拠品として機能していなかったのですが、
これは
海水に揉まれてボロボロになった上、文字も滲んで判読不能な状態だったのですが、二課情報部科学班の先端技術を結集させて元の状態にまで復元しました。
What are we gonna get?
金かけたな。
一読する限りでは意味不明の謎ポエムにも思われるのですが、高度な暗号の可能性もあるため、専門チームを編成して。
The new Japanese will be able to read the buy thing at the bottom.
FIS の背後関係を暴くきっかけになればと期待するのは少々虫が良すぎたな。
特殊性はないと判断しましたので、これは私物ということで彼女たちの元に戻るよう手配しておきます。
そうしてやってくれ。
They just found like some random boy.
どうしたのキリちゃん。かつてない予感が突然背中を駆け巡ったのです。
Oh, it was hers?
Yeah.
Like I said, if I could read the bye thing, I would have been able to figure it out.
Yeah, that was a goodbye message.
No, I meant on the bottom right-hand corner. It was bye and a name, but I couldn't read Japanese.
<gasps> 一体どこの誰だろう。刑務所のご飯を臭い飯だなんて言ったのは。
Depends on what you're used to.
どうして調べったらこんなにも塀の中の暮らしを満喫できるのかしら。
She sat there for 5 minutes staring. I think she's pretty easy to please.
ふんふんするほどじゃないと思うんだけど。
癖よ、つい出ただけよ。猫舌なわけないじゃない。
癖だとしたら十分猫舌です。
These are some pretty short shorts.
Well, we never really covered the whole imprisonment arc. They just kind of skipped right to it. At least it got some.
こうして見ると翼さんってやっぱり翼さんだよね。ああ、そうだな。
Just having fun.
話題の片付け術でときめき収納法という。今度こそ断捨離。何のつもりがあってこすりだ。
こうして見ると翼さんって。
Oh yeah, the game show that we never saw her on.
そうかな。二人とも。
Oh, it makes sense. It's like we'll all just watch.
二段重ねのおせち。大晦日には年越しの。
Oh, they are absolutely spoiled for prison.
298円のインスタントだけどね。
作戦行動中には考えられないくらい充実した食生活。
Couldn't afford 250 in
ず
FIS.
るずる引き伸ばしていればそれだけ長くごちそうにありつけるのかもしれない。だけどそれは正義とよろしくやっていく私の信念に反して。
マリアは食欲がない。
Withholding information to eat better.
Yeah.
チョコやクッキーもついてる。
二人ともここでの生活に慣れすぎよ。
Oh, I feel so bad for all of them.
よかった。みんな元気そうで。春からは一緒の学校だよ。先輩として厳しく指導してやるから覚悟しておけよな。
突起物に身を預けたのは間違いではなかったのね。三人とも丸くなったな。
Wrong phrasing to a bunch of girls.
以前よりも充実してるとかありえないし。
みんなの印象を言ったまでだがどうかしたのか。天然でこの切れ味。特にマリアが丸くなったな。この剣可愛くない。
We're like speed running through these.
Oh, no, it's good stuff though.
卒業しちゃうんですよね。そうなるとやっぱり翼さんはロンドンに。
本当にノイズが根絶されたのならいつか世界を舞台に歌ってみたいと夢見ていた。
Yeah, I could just get on with your career that you already got.
こっちのことは心配しないでください。
こういう時の立花は頼もしいな。むしろ心配なのは雪音の方だ。
確かにベソ書きそうなのはクリスチャンだよね。
雪音の場合ベソというよりべしょべしょの号泣か
It's
もし
weird
れない。
everyone else has irises except for Tsubasa.
るんじゃねえんだ。簡単に泣くものかよ。むしろ泣くのは卒業するそっちだろ。
剣に涙は似合わない。
Cold, dark, dead eyes.
決めたのだ。
A sword has no need for eyes. あ、never mind.
言わんこっちゃねえな。
面目ない。皆と一緒にいられなくなると思うとつい。
寂しくなるね。ずっと一緒だと思ってたから余計にね。
And then the problems start up again.
Oh, yeah, the start of the season.
Ah, pretty cool.
了解です。本部にて合流します。翼さん、最後にもう少しだけ手伝ってくれますか？
One last time and then a whole season
だからもう
happens.
どんなに離れようと私たちはずっと一緒だ。
そういうのは後回しだ。行くぞ。
You've gone to space multiple times now. I don't think anywhere on Earth is going to be far away from you now.
Oh, that is super cute. Not a lot of questions answered, but definitely plenty of the interstitial little points that probably happened, but definitely would not have fit in an episode.
Well, I don't know. They were only like a minute apiece, so they could have probably fit.
Maybe if you really squished them in, you know? But
No.
still, it helps that they're all so adorable.
柔らかく暖かな風に舞う桜とともに私たちはこのリリアン音楽院の門をくぐりました。今私たちは入学の喜びと高校
国連所属
Watching the
のエージェントと
newbies.
して日本を立つことになったの。私の代わりに調べとキリカをお願いするわ。
わかった。でもなんで私なんだ？
愛されキャラの君とならあの二人もきっと新しい環境に馴染めるんじゃないかと思ってね。
はあ？何の話だ？のぼせやがるな人気者！
君はいかにもな格好でいかにもなセリフを吐きまくってきたのに蓋を開けてみたらなんだかちゃっかりいいポジションに収まっていた愛されキャラだと立花響から聞いてい
Even
た
though
の
you're
だが
rough around the edges, people still like you.
思い出す激怒だ。初めて聞く日本語だ。この人、そんなのばっかりだよ。
Okay.
まあそれはそれとして、あの二人が新入生として入ってくるんだ。だからその。
Oh yeah, the actual start of the I'm Your Senior arc.
もちろん、当然わかってるとは思うが。ごめん、言ってること全然わかんないよ、クリスチャン。それだ、それ。私は年上で先輩なんだから、ちゃん付けだと示しがつかないってことだ。
I mean, you're contemporaries.
Chris can bully anyone she wants.
私たちなら気にしないよ、クリス。呼び捨て。そっか、こっちはこっちでちゃん付けですらなかった。出会った時からそうだったから、つい。
Way too familiar.
Yeah.
筋を通したり形から入るってのは大事だと思うんだが、だけど年上とか先輩とか関係なく恩人にそんなことはさせられねえ。それでもあのバカにタメ口を聞かれるってのは。やっぱり言ってること全然わかんないけど、クリスチャンは今まで通りクリスチャンでいいんだよね。好きで呼べ。
Not a lot of ceremony in this entrance ceremony thing.
This is like all the after talking stuff.
なんだかまだ慣れないですよ。まあそんなこったろうと思ってたので。
Oh, I love that
先輩
stance.
であるこの私が可愛い後輩に校舎を案内してやろう。
そういうのはオリエンテーションでもう
遠慮すんなって。ほら行くぞ。
I guess this follows up on the whole
むしろ校舎の作りなんて
about the end of the season thing about learning stuff from Chris and all that these two had.
Yeah, I feel it definitely needed more preamble. So, yeah, maybe these parts should have been in it to begin with.
なんとここが教室だ。わあすごい。確かに教室です。廃校になってた昔の
It sure is a classroom.
前の校舎も特徴的だったけど、今の校舎もすごく趣があるの。
前の校舎？
前の校舎はすごかったんだ。教室
Rough
の傾斜が
draft.
きつすぎて落とした消しゴムを拾おうとかがんだら、もろともに一
Last
下まで
updated 2011.
最速で最短でまっすぐに一直線に転がり落ちたこともあったしね。
I do appreciate the insight to the layout they're given.
そしてお待ちかね、体育の授業で使うグラウンドがここだ。
I did like the old design of the school. That was like nice, but they did blow it up, so.
やっぱりグラウンドはこうでなくちゃね。前の学校のトラックのコーナーなんてほぼ直角に曲がっていたから真面目に走るとコースアウトする人が続出だったの。後にも先にもあんなグラウンドはお目にかかったことがないよ。
Yeah, not a lot of turn radius, I guess.
かつてのリディアンにはシンフォギア奏者の候補が通うと聞いていたけれど、まさか校舎の施設を過酷な環境とすることでトレーニングを想定してたのかもしれない。
Yeah, that's actually a good bit of insight. Maybe it was. The whole point was just to see, like, alright, who's gonna be the best? Whoever flies off becomes a Symphogear user.
空の下で私の新しい挑戦が始まる。
大変です、翼さん。
小川さん、まさか再びノイズが観測されたのですか？
いえ、早速イギリスのテレビ局より出演依頼が殺到してまして。
私にですか？
はい。
そうですか。歌は言葉を超えて聞く者の胸に届くと信じて歌ってきたのですが。
They have to transcend words, they have to transcend language.
いえ、ステージへの出演依頼ではなくバラエティ方面なんですけど。
なぜ海を越えてもバラエティが
That's the consequence of being famous. Everyone's gonna ask you over.
数々のバラエティ番組で爪痕を残してきた翼さんの評判がこんなところにまで届いていたとは。
とりあえずオファー内容くらいは聞かせてください。
クイズやゲームでなく新天地に挑戦する翼さんの人となりに迫る密着系のようですね。
密着系？私のドキュメンタリー？
想像を絶するくらい寒い海で危険なカニ漁に挑んでもらうとありますが、
もはやバラエティの域を超えてます。
Symphogear ice fishing. Let's go.
Maria, United Nations agent.
I love the pose. I love the costume. I want more of it.
国連所属のエージェントであり、すべてはアナキストの野望を食い止めるための偽装工作であった。ちょっと頑張りすぎな気がするけれど、それでみんなを守れるのなら仕方ない。当面の任務は世界各地のチャリティーライブだけど、どの面下げてステージに立てばいいのかしら。私になんだかよくわからないけど、堂々とした振る舞いと。
Your first appearance was singing on stage. What?
You already did a worldwide announcement.
話はベッドで聞かせてもらう。
畜生、叶わないわけだ。
Yeah, she was worldwide famous. Her first appearance.
マリアか？うん。私とマリアの2人でもう一度ステージに立つ。
海岸ショービズの洗礼に翼が打ちひしがれてるんじゃないかと思ってね。慣れるためにも私が手伝ってあげるわ。
翼さん、他にもいろいろバラエティのオファーがあるのですが。
どうせ不祥どころか了承できかねるものばかりです。まあこの瞬間にも殺到するオファーをどう断ろうかと難儀していたところだが、仕方あるまい。ここはマリアの顔を立てるとしよう。
Ah, there we go. A solution to the problem.
あなたのそういうところ嫌いじゃないわ。じゃあ細かい話は後ほど詰めましょう。助かった。持つべきものは友達だ。しょうがねったらありゃしねえよ。なんで先輩のステージをあたしんちで見るんだよ。それも賑やかなのまとめて引き連れて、慌てて掃除するこっちの身にもなれってんだ。
Yeah, I never thought about whose place that was the entire time.
We used to be the commanders. She was living with him.
勘弁してくれよな。
I guess at some point she moved out. So if you remember, it was in the last extras that we got. Because he had brought the cabinet or something over, and that was real emotional for her.
Yeah, I guess I kind of always thought like this season that was like a dorm room or something, like a a socialization center for like students. I don't know.
I
guess
don't
it just
know.
kind of
Last
wrapped
time
the
she
detail.
wasn't a student, so.
Ah, true. But there we go. That is the first couple bits of the OVA. We got more to see, but Theta, after watching these first two parts, what do you think?
They feel like the last half of the last set of extras, and they just added a bunch of cute stuff, whereas the first half of the last group had all of the information stuff in it. I don't know.
To me, this time, this feels even more like, here's stuff that we planned, staged, we did like little sketches of it, and then we just didn't go ahead with it. So this is like, that's fun extra material too, though. Like, this is stuff that would fit in pretty cleanly into the episodes. It just didn't have a place most of the time.
Well, I
think.
mean, not all of it, obviously. We couldn't. It'd be kind of meta if we included the sketches of our classrooms and the school layouts in the middle of an
No, I
episode.
can definitely see that as a image into their imagination kind of deal. That'd be cool. But there we go. So we'll be back with some more Symphogear extras next time. This has been Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin. That's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?